Hello and welcome back to Intelligent Pod, where we explore the ideas, innovations, and insights that shape our smarter, more connected lives. I'm your host, Sophie Lane, and I'm so glad you're tuning in today. Whether you're a longtime listener or just joining us for the first time, thank you for inviting me into your day. Today's episode is all about something you've probably heard a lot about, maybe even tried a few times, but might still feel a little mystified by: mindfulness and meditation. We're diving into the science behind these practices, exploring why they've become such buzzwords, and most importantly, how you can actually bring mindfulness and meditation into your own life in a meaningful, practical way. So, if you've ever wondered, does meditation really work? Or how can mindfulness help me deal with stress? This is the episode for you. Let's start with some context. Mindfulness and meditation are everywhere these days. You see apps like Headspace and Calm topping the charts. Meditation classes are offered at gyms, yoga studios, and even in corporate boardrooms. The New York Times, Harvard Business Review, and even your favorite lifestyle influencers are all talking about it. But what do these words really mean? At its core, mindfulness is simply paying purposeful attention to the present moment, without judgment. Meditation, on the other hand, is a family of practices designed to cultivate this mindful awareness. You can think of mindfulness as the skill, and meditation as the gym where you train that skill. The goal isn't to empty your mind of thoughts, contrary to popular belief, but to become more aware of your thoughts and feelings, and less controlled by them. Now, let's ground this in something concrete. According to a 2022 survey by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, over 14% of adults in the United States have tried meditation in the past year. That's a huge jump from just a decade ago. And the reasons people try it are pretty universal: stress, anxiety, trouble sleeping, or just the desire for a little more calm in an increasingly chaotic world. But does it actually work? Let's get into the science. From a psychological perspective, mindfulness and meditation have been linked to all sorts of benefits. A 2016 meta-analysis published in JAMA Internal Medicine looked at over 18,000 participants and found that mindfulness meditation programs led to moderate improvements in anxiety, depression, and pain. We're not just talking about feeling a bit better. These were measurable clinical improvements. The scientific perspective digs even deeper. Brain imaging studies have shown that regular meditation actually changes the structure of your brain. Harvard neuroscientist Sarah Lazar conducted a groundbreaking study where participants engaged in an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program. MRI scans revealed increased gray matter density in areas associated with memory, sense of self, empathy, and stress regulation. In other words, meditation isn't just a feel-good fad. It physically changes your brain. And here's an anecdote that might resonate with you. A close friend of mine, let's call her Emily, was going through a really tough time at work. She was constantly stressed, snapping at colleagues, and having trouble sleeping. She decided to try a simple guided meditation app for just 10 minutes each morning. After a few weeks, she noticed she was less reactive, more patient, and even started sleeping better. She described it as getting just a little bit more space between her stress and her reaction to it. That's the power of mindfulness in action. But let's not ignore the cultural dimension. Mindfulness and meditation are rooted in ancient practices, particularly from Buddhist traditions. But nearly every culture has some form of contemplative practice. Think prayer, chanting, or even mindful walking. What's interesting is how these ancient practices have been adapted for the modern world. For example, mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR, was created in the 1970s by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn as a secular, science-based way to help people manage chronic pain. It's now used in hospitals, schools, and workplaces worldwide. Of course, mindfulness isn't a panacea. It's not about avoiding problems or suppressing difficult emotions. In fact, mindfulness invites you to acknowledge whatever you're feeling, whether it's joy, sadness, or frustration, with openness and curiosity. And for some, especially those with certain mental health conditions, meditation can be challenging. so it's always a good idea to check in with a healthcare professional if you're unsure. So, how can you bring mindfulness and meditation into your own life? Let's break it down with some actionable steps. First, start small. You don't need to meditate for an hour a day to see benefits. Even just 5 minutes of mindful breathing can make a difference. Try this. Find a comfortable seat, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Notice the sensation of air moving in and out of your nose, the rise and fall of your chest. When your mind wanders, which it will, just gently bring it back to your breath. Second, try bringing mindfulness into everyday activities. You can practice mindful eating by slowing down and truly noticing the taste and texture of your food. Or, try a mindful walk. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the colors and sounds around you, and let yourself be present for just a few minutes. Third, consider using a guided meditation app or YouTube video if you're just starting out. Sometimes having someone walk you through it can make the process feel less intimidating. Fourth, don't judge yourself. Some days your mind will feel busy, and that's completely normal. The goal is not to achieve a blank mind, but to notice your thoughts and let them pass by like clouds in the sky. And finally, be patient. The benefits of mindfulness and meditation tend to build over time. Think of it like building a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Let's recap the big ideas from today's episode. Mindfulness and meditation are more than just trends. They're powerful tools, backed by both ancient wisdom and modern science, for managing stress, improving mental health, and increasing your overall sense of well-being. The science shows real, measurable changes in both mind and body. And the best part? You don't need any special equipment or hours of free time to get started. Just a few minutes, a little openness, and a willingness to try. As we wrap up, I'd love for you to reflect on this. What would it look like to bring just a little more mindful awareness into your day? Maybe it's a few deep breaths before a meeting, or savoring your morning coffee without distractions. Small moments of presence can add up to big changes over time. Thank you so much for joining me on Intelligent Pod today. If you found this episode helpful, please consider leaving a review wherever you listen. It really helps others discover the show. For show notes, links to the studies I mentioned, and more resources, head over to intelligentpod.com. And if you have thoughts, questions, or want to share your own mindfulness journey, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me anytime at sophie@intelligentpod.com. Until next time, take care, be curious, and remember, a more mindful life is just a breath away.